Let's play a game. Can you spot the difference? Maybe not. What about now? These two cameras share the same body, but have different sensors. These two cameras share the same sensor, but have different bodies. The PYXIS 12K promises to combine the incredible image of the Ursa Cine LF with the body and handling of the PYXIS. What's the catch? To meet the thermal and power constraints of such a small body, the readout speed of the sensor isn't as fast as the Ursa Cine LF. It's twice the speed. OpenGate 12K is 25 milliseconds. That's still good. Remember, the DJI Ronin 4D has an almost 30 millisecond rolling shutter in its high dynamic range mode. Significant portions of the F1 movie were shot with that camera. But here is the PYXIS 12K's superpower. Readout speed improves when you don't use the entire height of the sensor. And readout speed also improves dramatically when you drop into the camera's lower resolution, but still incredibly high resolution 8K mode.
To drive the point home, here's a difficult scenario for rolling shutter, an ultra-wide 14mm lens shot handheld in the camera's 8K mode. Here's a similar scenario on a 40mm. Don't forget, because the camera records gyro data, Resolve's stabilizer can use that to steady the image and correct rolling shutter at the same time, without the traditional jello you'd experience when using normal image stabilization.
The PYXIS offers a wide variety of shooting resolutions and modes. While resolution and readout speed varies, it doesn't really force you to make any compromise. Think about this. Erratic handheld movement that requires a faster readout is unlikely to benefit from 12K of resolution, given all of the movement and motion blur. 8K is going to be fine in that scenario. On the other hand, a detailed wide landscape that can benefit from high resolution or zooming in post is unlikely to be hindered by a slower readout speed, given the fact that the camera will most likely be on sticks or stabilized.
If you've not seen our video about the Ursa Cine 12K, please go watch it because it explains the incredible technology behind the sensor that is also featured in the PYXIS 12K. We shot comparisons with the Ursa 12K and PYXIS 12K. Suffice to say, the image is near enough identical, the same noise, highlights, and color. That's a good thing. The Ursa 12K is an incredible camera. In short, the camera is capable of switching resolution without changing your field of view or introducing artifacts into the image. Here's a resolution chart shot in 12K, 8K, and 4K. As you can see, the field of view remains exactly the same. As expected, 12K resolves the most detail, while 8K and 4K resolve less detail, respectively. This next test shows the practical impact that has. Here's the wide shot in 12K, 8K, and 4K. Obviously, no visible difference here because we are in a UHD timeline. But I just wanted you to see in context the part of the image we're about to zoom in on. We're at 1:1 pixels on the 12K image, and then we've zoomed in to 2 times. To match framing, the 8K is zoomed in by 3 times, and the 4K is zoomed in by 6 times. The practicality of shooting in 12K and the quality on offer is very evident. In our previous coverage of the Ursa 12K, some had questions about the resolving power of the 12K sensor. Given its unique architecture, was it actually able to resolve 12K of detail? That same question is relevant no matter what sensor you are talking about. Any sensor that uses a CFA will interpolate the final full color image. Bayer, quad Bayer, RGBW, etc. It doesn't matter. Additionally, most cameras use an OLPF that will have a softening effect on the image. But just for fun, here's another comparison. The very first test scene we also shot on a Venice 2. You can see that Blackmagic's 12K sensor does indeed resolve more detail. It even looks notably sharper at 8K too. Now, sharpness can be subjective, but what isn't is the fact that the Venice exhibits color aliasing on the shirt's tight pattern, whereas the Blackmagic 12K sensor shows much cleaner colors, particularly inside of the pattern. People love to talk about the color science and look that cameras have. In this instance, the Venice appears to run magenta, and I much prefer the look of the PYXIS and Ursa. The real color science in these cameras, the photo sites, the color filter arrays, the processing, is beyond my knowledge, as it is beyond most other people's. The term color science gets misused constantly, when all people are typically referring to is how they like the look of the default normalization of the image. The Venice produces a gorgeous image, and it has incredible color science. So does the PYXIS and Ursa. As testament to that, here is the same scene, but color graded to match. Can you tell which is which? Is there one that you prefer over the other? And by the way, the Sony is 16-bit linear and the PYXIS is 12-bit log. But remember, 16-bit is only required because linear is so inefficient. So comparing those numbers is actually of little value. A big thank you to Tashi Trio for providing this color grade. Both cameras produce images with incredible potential that a competent colorist can work with and craft into whatever look they are after. Yes, the Venice and the PYXIS both have fantastic color science. This video is sponsored by Audiio,
where with our discount code, you can get 70% off an entire year of royalty-free music. We use Audiio for all of our music. I'd like to highlight a genuinely useful feature, and that is their phone app. The homepage features new artists and playlists. That's a great place to start if you don't know what you're looking for yet. If you're out and about, when you've got time to kill, instead of listening to the music you already know, you can explore Audiio's library and start building ideas for your next edit. If you're looking for something specific, head to search. You can do all the normal stuff like search through song titles, artists, and keywords, or you can hit this button in the middle. This is Hands AI. It understands the music in Audio's library. You can either describe the kind of song you're looking for or describe the kind of video you're looking to make. Either way, when you find songs you like, mark them as a favorite. Now, when you sit down to start editing, instead of starting from zero, you're already ahead. You can get an entire year of Audiio Pro for just $60 using our discount code in the description. Lots of cameras were released in 2025, and they are all good. Many of them are even excellent. Outside of some specific use case scenarios, you could purchase any reasonably priced professional camera and make amazing images. If you're looking to upgrade your current camera, well, in all likelihood, the camera you already have is already good enough. So please, obsess over the creative art, not the equipment. There's nothing wrong with loving the tools that you use, but it means nothing if it doesn't go hand in hand with creativity. With all that said, the PYXIS 12K has entered a crowded market, but we still think it manages to distinguish itself. Here's 4 reasons why. Flexibility. As mentioned, the PYXIS inherits the same groundbreaking sensor found in the Ursa Cine 12K. If you don't know what makes it so special, go watch our explainer. It's a 3x2 VistaVision sensor, also known as full frame. This sensor is actually full frame. Remember, some cameras advertise full frame but don't shoot a full height 3x2 image. Because of that, OpenGate became a buzzword used by many to denote that taller aspect ratio, as opposed to a 16:9 or 17:9 crop of a full frame image. To clear things up, OpenGate refers to capturing the entire sensor, regardless of size or aspect ratio. Full frame is a photography term. It means 8perf 35mm, which has a 3:2 aspect ratio. VistaVision is a cinema term for the exact same thing, 8perf 35mm. The PYXIS 12K sensor makes it flexible because, 1, you can shoot a wide variety of aspect ratios. Whether that is tall, wide, or if you can't make your mind up or are providing multiple deliveries, you can shoot OpenGate and then crop in post to your desired aspect ratio. Now, many cameras can do that, but with some mirrorless cameras, the highest resolution OpenGate modes sometimes reduce the quality of the image. For example, this Panasonic S1 II is a fantastic camera, but its OpenGate mode is only 420 chroma subsampling. The PYXIS is essentially 444 in every single resolution and mode. 2, you can shoot a variety of resolutions without affecting the camera's field of view and without affecting image quality. The 12K, 8K, and 4K mode do not crop the sensor. They all have the exact same field of view. On a 6K VistaVision sensor, a Super 16 mode would deliver a 2K image, like on the PYXIS 6K. However, on the PYXIS 12K, Super 16 still yields a 4K image, and Super 35 delivers a whopping 9K. So you can shoot those formats and still get a high resolution image. There is a plethora of amazing lenses built for Super 35 and Super 16. A camera needs to be enjoyable to use. Frustrations sap creative energy. It's the small things that make the difference, but when you add them up, they can make a really big difference. We think that Blackmagic has the best interface of any camera manufacturer, and there's a couple of things that really help that. They don't have to maintain legacy menu structures or include stills features that bog down the menu. It's entirely video focused. They have larger touchscreens than other manufacturers. Finally, this comment gets a little bit more subjective, but it feels like the menu has been designed by a UX team and not a technician. Does that make sense? All of that comes together to mean that you can do things like change the base frame rate directly from the camera's shooting interface. You wouldn't believe how difficult that is on some cameras that require you to find a region or frequency setting buried in not the shooting menus, but the camera's system configuration. And then you have to reboot the camera and head to yet a different menu to configure the camera further. Here's another operation that Blackmagic makes stunningly easy. Changing resolution is as simple as that. Let's talk about codecs briefly. This camera only offers one codec, Blackmagic RAW, but there's 4 different compression options. You can choose a higher compression ratio when shooting an interview and then increase quality for important B-roll. It's pretty common in other cameras to have to change codec when switching resolution, or as mentioned, to have to accept lower chroma subsampling or use a lower bit depth, meaning that even if your project is all delivered from the same camera, it could be in several different codecs without uniform quality across them all. On the PYXIS, everything is going to be in that same high quality codec. And how about this? Blackmagic places recorded B-RAW files in the root directory of the card, not hidden inside DCIM, clip, or media folders. It sounds simple, but that is so refreshing. And the PYXIS generates proxies in camera, meaning you can start editing with either originals or proxies immediately. Finally, multiple screens have become common on high-end Blackmagic cameras. The URSAs have them, and once you've added a PYXIS monitor, now the PYXIS has multiple screens too. Of course, you can add as many monitors as you want to other cameras, but the big difference is that both the side screen and the PYXIS monitor can be used to control every aspect of the camera with their touchscreen. Cameras naturally become a hub on set. Multiple touchscreens not only allow more than one person to see the image, but allow more than one person to control the camera. It's hard to go back to cameras with a single interface. We could go on, but in short, all of those thoughtful decisions end up making a very pleasant shooting experience.
The camera has 3 riggable surfaces, there's screw holes, and they even have ARRI locating pins. But the real magic happens when you combine the camera with third-party plates. These are made by Mid49. We love using the camera's native battery system, BPU batteries. We know many like to modify the camera to accept more commonly available V-mounts. If that's you, check out Mid49's V-mount power distribution system. Size-wise, the camera sits in a sweet spot. It's small and compact, yet big enough to comfortably accommodate larger accessories. You can turn this into a big camera with PL lenses, and you can also turn it into a small camera with native L-mount lenses. We highly recommend the camera in L-mount. First, you can cheaply adapt it to PL or EF, the other 2 mount options. Buying the camera natively in PL or EF just makes your purchase less flexible and harder to resell. Second, adapting L to PL allows you to fix one of the camera's main omissions, internal ND. In all fairness, other cameras are riggable too, but the size and shape of the camera limits the size of the equipment you can rig. You'll end up mounting your camera to your rigging rather than mounting your rigging to your camera. This is the Kippertie revolver. It adapts from L to PL, and in the middle it accepts revolver ND cartridges. Each cartridge has 4 filters. We opted for the 2 filter set that has ND steps in single stop increments, so it has everything from clear through to 7 stops. There's also a single cartridge that has clear, 2, 4, and 6 stops in a single cartridge. I think that single cartridge is good for most people. Kippertie has released an adapter with electronic ND that looks awesome too. The only issue is that the END cartridge only goes down to 2 stops, so you need to remove it and insert a clear unit if you want no ND. So for that reason, the revolver might be slightly more convenient. In summary, the PYXIS is a flexible platform that can be adapted to suit the needs of different projects.
Whether a camera is cheap or expensive is subjective and depends on your needs and the cost of similar equipment.
We will display the cost of the PYXIS body only, but as most people will purchase the PYXIS monitor too, let's add that cost. However you look at it, the PYXIS offers incredible value. It should be noted that features like autofocus or insane low light sensitivity are common features in the mirrorless and mid-range box camera market. We'll talk about that shortly. But given the PYXIS evident focus as a cinema camera, it's expected that those features are not prioritized. It's marginally more expensive than a high-end mirrorless, but in many regards is a significant upgrade. It's cheaper than other mid-range box cameras like the Sony FX6, Komodo X, and Canon C400, but is still, in many regards, also a significant upgrade. The value proposition gets especially wild when compared with high-end cinema cameras. There's no reason why you couldn't use this camera to produce high-budget prestige content, especially when paired with the Ursa Cine 12K or 17K. As is typical of Blackmagic products, this camera delivers value and features beyond its price point. Don't forget, you'll get a free copy of DaVinci Resolve Studio with your camera.
While it has no impact on cost, one other thing that cannot be ignored for working professionals is the impression that your camera will have on set and with your client. This has no impact on image quality or the kind of video you can create, but part of being professional is looking professional. This camera makes an impression. The PYXIS 12K seems to have only one notable omission, and that's autofocus. Some people will mention internal ND, but as other cameras around the same price point like the C50 and FX3 also lack internal ND, as do more expensive cameras like the Red VRAP, it seems unnecessary to get hung up on that or to use it as a point of comparison, especially as ND can be added via a lens adapter. Autofocus can be addressed to some extent with accessories like the DJI Focus Pro, but that does add expense and weight to the camera. There is a great deal of work and a great deal of workers who do not require autofocus, so for many, autofocus is a moot point. Regardless, even if it's not required for the majority of your work, it would be nice to have some sort of autofocus, even if it's not the best, in case you need it one day.
Blackmagic's autofocus journey began last year at NAB. Blackmagic themselves have made it clear that autofocus would be coming to other cameras in the future. We've already seen them add it as a free firmware upgrade to older cameras. Perhaps it will come to the PYXIS 12K. To be clear, those are our musings, we have no information on that, but we are excited about the future of this camera.
Cameras are really good now, and there's so many of them. We're very fortunate. Equipment does matter, but these days, even average equipment delivers sufficient quality and features for most production work. The choice no longer revolves around whether a camera is good enough, but instead whether it suits your style of production and whether it meets your client's expectations. The Ursa LF12K is an amazing camera and one of the most exciting leaps we've seen any manufacturer take. The PYXIS 12K packages the incredible sensor into a smaller, more convenient body with one simple compromise, a slightly higher but still acceptable readout speed. The PYXIS 12K is an incredible combination of image quality, features, flexibility and price. One final question. If you have a 6K, should you upgrade? Only if you need to. If you're happy with the image it produces and its selection of frame rates, it's an amazing camera. So here's one last comparison for you. That scene that we started out with, we also shot it on the PYXIS 6K. There is an evident increase in quality with the PYXIS 12K, but it's only apparent when you put the two images side by side or pixel peep or push the cameras. To reiterate, there are many great cameras out there and this is one of them. Please, if you enjoyed this video, give it a like, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on future content, and thanks for watching.